Hi there, my name is Joanna Corona. I am with Real Brokerage. And if you know me, and if you don't know me, in this video, you're gonna get to know me because I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about my life and how I got into real estate and what actually got me into becoming a realtor. I am Joanna and I am 34 years old right now. And I have a 7-year-old daughter. She is so cute. Her name is Mila. She is like the world to me. Anything I do, everything I do is for her. And the reason why I got into real estate, so let me take you back to 2015. I had just moved into a property in the city of Pomona, and it was just this beautiful property, and it was um, a three-bedroom, three bath with an office, two living rooms, a family room, a formal living room, a dining area. And I had moved there from a basic condo in the city of West Covina, right? It wasn't a condo, it was a fourplex. It was a two bed, two bath, actually two bed, one bath. And the reason I got into real estate was because when we moved into the property in Pomona, now this is in North Pomona, which is for those of you that have heard the city of Pomona, you have a lot of negative, a lot of crime, a lot of drugs in that city, prostitution, you name it. Anything and everything that a city has that's maybe wrong with the city, it is in Pomona. But there's a specific area in Pomona, which is the outskirts of Pomona, that is not so bad, right? So this was North Pomona, next to the golf course. And every day I would drive to my house and I would be like, oh my God, how can I buy this house? I didn't own a house back then. How can I buy this house? What do I need to do to buy a house? So I started listening to, as many of us have, Bigger Pockets. And I would listen to it at work. I would listen to it on my way home from work, on my way to work, like anything and everything I would do was Bigger Pockets. In Bigger Pockets, they started talking about, I mean, it's about investing, right? Investing in real estate, doing the first strategy, flipping, buying and holding, seller financing, sub two, anything that had to do with real estate. This was the podcast. So I started in 2015. In 2016, I got a job, and this was a part time job with an investor who was in commercial. And all I would do was drive around to different addresses and take pictures of commercial buildings, of manufacturing buildings, of industrial buildings, right? That's what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to get into the real estate market and that this was going to be my gateway to it. So, how my job was described or what I would do for work, right? This investor would text me an address. I would drive to the property and I would take pictures of the exterior. I would send them to him and then he would send me another property. That's all I was doing, right? I don't know what I was getting paid back then, but I was getting paid that much for doing that. And when I continued listening to Bigger Pockets, I realized that commercial real estate is always the best investment. Now, why do I say that? Well, when you own a commercial building such as a manufacturing industrial building, these are warehouses that keep storages. This is where all the product that's coming from other countries is coming into these buildings. And guess what? The company that is renting and leasing out these buildings takes care of everything. All you have to worry about is taxes, insurance, and anything that happens with the exterior of the building. So the roof, right? Foundation and the landscaping, that's all you. Aside of that, these tenants are leasing for 5 years. They renew their contract for another 5, 10 years. And obviously, you increase the lease as they renew their contract. At At that point, they either decide to move to a different property, which is more expensive than staying in that property, or they stay in the property, renew the lease, and guess what? The realtors helping these companies get the same lease, right? They get the lease from 1 to 5 years. They get paid on that lease, and then when it comes time to renew, those companies are contacting the same realtor, and that realtor is getting paid again for the next 5 to 10 years. Anyway, I learned this in Bigger Pockets, listening to Bigger Pockets in 2018 was when I learned about apartment buildings and multifamily investing. So multifamily is another sector of commercial real estate. So obviously multifamily, and I don't know if you know, right? It might not be obvious, but multifamily is actually apartment buildings, anywhere from 5 units and up, 5 to 50, 5 to 300. Um, if it's anywhere from 1 to 4 units, it's still categorized as a single family. You can get a loan with a regular, FHA loan or conventional. But once you hit 5 units and up, it has to be a commercial loan. So in 2018, I learned, and actually this was, yeah, 2018. That's when I had my daughter. She was 1 year old. I continued learning about real estate investing, and I continued listening to Bigger Pockets. I would go to meetups. And what happened was in 2018, I remember this in my mind like it happened yesterday. Okay, I was doing the activities of constantly looking for buyers and sellers and trying to connect them. Now, mind you, in back then, I didn't have my real estate license. I didn't know how a transaction worked, what it meant to go into escrow from start to finish. So when I started this, right, Bigger Pockets in 2018, when I learned about multifamily, I was like, oh my God, I want to own a multifamily building. I want to earn 30, 30 units. I want to own 30 units. I want to be able to be a investor. So what I did was um, I started connecting the dots. I figured out how to find these buyers, these institutional buyers. So institutional buyers are buyers who buy a lot of property. They have a lot of money and they're ready to just buy the property, right? Each year, if you know your numbers, you know that you have to spend a certain amount of numbers by the end of the year. So next year you can raise even more money and buy more properties. So I was able to get a hold of a buyer, an institutional buyer, who was looking, and this was in October. My birthday is in October, so which is why I remember the month. He was looking to buy $25 million in real estate by the end of 2018. And he told me, whatever you have, he sent me a list. I still have the list. He sent me a list of about 25 cities all throughout the US: Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and there was other cities, right, where these institutional buyers, this private company, they bought real estate. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I found a product, right, in the specific area. I remember this. It was in Texas. And I found a multifamily building that was selling, right, for sale. And then I started, asking questions, and I figured out, I signed an NDA, right, a non-disclosure agreement. I couldn't talk about this property to anyone, so I signed that. I didn't know what I was doing. Then I went ahead and I asked more questions. Okay, so I have this seller, I have this person selling this property, I have this buyer who wants to buy a property. How do I connect them and make and for me to get paid? How do I get paid through this transaction? As I kept doing my research and I kept learning about real estate and about real estate investing and how to connect everybody, I found out that I couldn't get paid because I didn't have a real estate license. And that is exactly why I went out and I got my real estate license. I realized, okay, I got to get my license because if not, How am I going to put party A with party B, right? Buyer, seller, connect them and get paid, get a commission check, get a referral fee. I had to get my real estate license. So, what happened after that was that I found out that a lot of people put deals together through a daisy chain. So let's say that I have an apartment building that's 30 units selling at $10 million, right? This apartment building, I have it under contract, right? I have it under contract. I have the contract. Now I'm trying to sell it to different people. Now, those people who have my apartment building, my NDA, try to find a buyer, right? They're called wholesalers. They try to find a buyer, and that buyer pays them a fee to buy this apartment building. So it's called daisy chains. In nowhere in the country can you do that. It's illegal, right? I found that out after. It's illegal for someone who is not licensed to be getting paid on anything that has to do with real estate. I know there's other things that people talk about and they try to, work around it, but it is illegal to get paid on any real estate transaction, which is why I decided to get my real estate license. I then got my real estate license and started my journey with real estate. Now, mind you, I was still working a 9 to 5. I was only working 3 days a week. And I decided that I was going to be a realtor. Hey, I'm going to be a realtor. I'm going to go out and sell all these homes. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to get paid. And I'm going to be going out and buying all these real estate properties, right? Little did I know that it was not that easy. It is not just easy to just get your license, go out, find a buyer, get the seller. Like you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work, put in the work. And that's what I did. I was working a part time job, trying to put in the work as a realtor. I did sell houses. I was under a mentor at first, then I went on to a team, and then I went on to another mentor. And finally, now I'm with the Home Ready team. Going back to when I started with the Home Ready team, I was full time, went full time 2023. 2024 was my best year out of my real estate career. And this year is going to be even better. So I am someone who is currently working towards my real estate financial freedom. And my goal is to buy 30 to 300 units, whether that's through syndication or if that's directly through me. My goal is to buy them in California, in Southern California. And I know it's not going to be overnight, but it's going to be a journey that I'm going to go through. And I'm very proud of myself for taking the risk and becoming a real estate agent, being a single mom, and actually going out and, talking to people, talking to everyone I know, talking to those I don't know about real estate. And I am one of those realtors that is not a salesy realtor. I'm going to go there, talk to you, and, obviously I'm going to tell you I'm a realtor if you want to buy and sell. That's it. I don't force people to buy or sell with me. That is not my strategy, and it is not how I work. And I will say that so far it's been the best thing that I've ever done because I see all of my work paying off. So, this is me. This is who I am. If you are someone who is looking to buy, sell, invest, and you're looking for someone who is going to give it to you black and white, whether you want to learn about, it's calling me, whether you want to learn about whether you want to sell your house, buy an investment property, buy out of state, you want to do a 1031 exchange, or you want to sell your house and buy a smaller house, downsize your house, or you are a first time buyer, you know someone that is looking to buy the first property, and someone who is an investor. Hey, if you're an investor looking for some deals, I can also help you with that. Unknown caller. I would love to give you my strategic plan of what I do to help buyers, sellers, and investors buy, sell, and invest in real estate. Give me a call, 626 428 4730. Take care, everyone. Bye.